Heads up! This podcast contains infrequent informal language. Please proceed with due caution.
This is Prompt Songs Podcast. If you are new to the show, we recommend beginning from the pilot episode and making your way through in order. If not, you'll pick it up along the way. Please enjoy the show.
It's been a long time since we've all gathered here today, and we're...
Oh, is this the start?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the podcast, baby.
Thanks.
So, as you can hear, we have a new voice, so we're joined, as usual, by Sam and Adam.
Hi.
Yo.
And I'm Ryan, hi. And we're being joined by our good old friend... Actually, no, that's a bit unfair, you're not that. He's an old friend. Richard, sorry.
Hello.
Richard is in a band with us, which... isn't as active, but it's called Sugar Breaks. We all met as a four-piece in high school. Richard, can you please tell us about yourself and your musical upbringing?
Well, I guess, for a career, I work in the film industry. But then, obviously, music's been real kind of big in my life on the side. And I was just thinking now, as you said, when we started the band, wow, you were in it a lot longer than I was. I was just thinking, I kind of actually learnt guitar in the band. Because I remember that first time, you guys were looking for a new guitarist and you showed up at my house and you're like, do you want to play guitar? It was the whole band.
That's a spot-on impression of me.
Yeah, and I was just looking through the right side, I was like, I literally just bought a guitar, a week beforehand. I was just like, yep. And they're like, cool, we're going to do Rock Quest in 2 months. And I was just like, oh shit, I don't even know how to play a bar chord.
Oh yeah. Good method of motivation though,
It's terrifying.
So can you remember, was there an album or a song that really planted a seed of inspiration and made you think, wow, there's something in this?
What do you mean? As in, what
started
prompted me
for
to...
music? Good language. What prompted you?
Wow. I think it was because I lived with my brother. We shared a room for a while, and we had a tape deck kind of in our room. And my older brother Graham, he would always make these kind of dubbed cassette tapes. And so I had all this music that I would listen to, and Ellen would listen to, and I just didn't know anything about it. I didn't know who the band was. I didn't know what the name of the song was. But I would just know these great songs. It was things like Green Day and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this would have been early 2000s?
Yeah, and Bittersweet Symphony and all those kind of songs that were on there. And I didn't know what they were called. I just knew that I liked them.
Yeah.
And my older brother, Graham, played guitar. He played in church groups and stuff like that. And so there was always a guitar around the house, and we had a piano in the house. And it was kind of just a case of just playing around when I was bored. And ended up in high school kind of by accident signing up for guitar lessons.
By accident?
Yeah, by accident. Because part of the Year 9 curriculum was doing a music class, and you could do the theory or you could do the band. Yep. And I decided to do the band. I thought that there was going to be guitar in the band, so I was like, well, I want to be good at it, so I'll sign up for lessons as well. Signed up for lessons, little did I know that was just a big band, and there was no guitar, there was just bass.
Yep.
And so I ended up playing bass and then learning guitar at the same time, and that was kind of how it all happened, and I just carried on from there, and then met you guys and kind of jumped in the band. And
I was gutted about that too. I was like, oh man, they're going to play guitar in the band, it's going to be fine.
Right?
I know guitar.
I can piggyback on that, because Year 9, that was there's a band class, cool, I'm learning drums, I can be on drums. Yeah. And I played clarinet.
I played trombone.
Yeah.
I know a lot of schools try and fill holes in their bands, so they'll be like, oh shit, we need more saxophone players. Okay, Year 9s, everyone has to learn saxophone, animals having lots of babies so that a few of them will survive.
Survival of the fittest.
We'll have lots of saxophones in Year 9,
exactly.
and then some of them will quit, and then we'll end up with a few good saxophone players at the end.
Primarily you're a guitarist, but you can kind of pick up anything and play it. So which guitarists are the most influential to you as a songwriter and a performer?
I think I got extremely into this Scottish band called Biffy Clyro when I was in high school, and it kind of became almost the only band that I listened to for a long time.
You even used to sing with a Scottish accent.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous. But Simon Neil, who's the guitarist, they're a three-piece band, and so the guitar is really prominent in that, and a really heavy rock. So I think that kind of style of playing is probably been the most influential on my songwriting.
But also you're quite, anyone who knows you as a performer, you're very good with your effects. It's not uncommon to see you crouching down, playing around with the effects and getting the most interesting tones.
That comes from me not knowing what to play. And genuinely, because you guys have all like studied music, and so like sometimes when it comes to me playing solos live or even on a record or whatever, I'm just like, I don't know, so I'll just put lots of effects. I'll edge it. But and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it's kind of like, I guess I've accumulated a few pedals over time, and just sitting down and playing with them and figuring out their limits and what they can do is really helpful. Like that's a Tom Morello-esque approach to it.
But I think that's also been very detrimental to your position in the band, because whenever we've had practices that you've not been able to attend, you're the biggest missing link, because you're kind of the gel that brings the three of us together.
I think what you're saying about the technique is like all the pedals and stuff, that's something that I don't know about you, Adam, but I definitely don't have much experience with that at all. Like,
oh no, I'm a very vanilla guy.
Yeah.
I just plug it in and
the one thing about like learning, because Adam and I both trained to play jazz, one thing about learning jazz that is interesting, how it affects your playing in some good ways but also in bad ways, because your playing just gets really busy and noodly, and there's a lot of extra stuff that doesn't need to be there. But I think you're really good at, you know, playing just the right thing.
No, like I tend to, like when we're writing songs, or you guys have come up with like a section or something, and it's kind of my turn to put my part on top of it, I'll end up coming up with something that I just won't be able to play anything else. It'll just I'll just noodle around, and I'll noodle around until some like little melody or something sticks, and then that's the only thing that I'll ever be able to play on that song. Like we tried it when we were recording, like doing for the solo
For Colours.
Yeah, and we're like,
let's do the original one you've done, and then we'll try a new one, see what we can do.
Yeah, and it's like I tried a new one and it was fine, but
I think you overthink in that kind of situation, because you've got this original solo to try and live up to, and so you try and overcompensate. But
I find that with like even doing writing these songs, because the approach that I usually use is I write out a bunch of words, and then I make up some chords, and I just try and sing the words, make them fit.
So you do the lyrics first?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, for these prompt songs, because I'm trying to do them so quickly.
That is the way.
Almost just like train of thought, just like random things that are connected to the topic, and then like trying to...
Well, see, I kind of do that. I brainstorm
like
phrases that I might want to add into it. Or metaphors.
I sort of have an idea, like I try and stick to a sentence length and like an amount of syllables, so it sort of will fit into a phrase. But yeah, the first time I sing it, I find it very hard to re-sing it in a different way. Like once I've got that one melody for that part, I can't reimagine it, because it's like locked in my brain like that way.
I found that with a lot of different creative things as well. Like I went to design school, and it took me 3 years to figure out putting more effort into that first kernel of an idea that you have is probably more beneficial than trying to come up with another idea which is going to fit the brief a little bit more.
Yeah, like I think that in general terms for songwriting, I think the one thing we're all agreed on, because there are different methods that work, the one thing that everyone agrees on is the best time to write a song is when you have that idea. Because if you leave it 2 weeks, it might not be the same song. It won't have that same energy and surprise that you had when you first had it.
No.
Well, let's have our special guest.
You want to hear one of my songs?
I would love to hear one of your songs, Richard.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So I have 2 different songs. Well, do you want a rock song or do you want a weird song?
Let's go with the rock song.
Okay,
Rock song.
sweet. So what was the prompt for this one? It was a trio rock.
Mentioning Biffy Clyro.
Yes, and I was like, haha, I know why they chose this one.
Yeah, we thought we'd play to your strengths, so if you fuck up, it's all on you.
So, exactly. I was like, yeah, that's why I was terrified. I was like, oh my god, if I fuck this up, I'm just going to be the worst musician ever.
Do you remember me sending you the prompts? Because Adam and I were it was post that podcast recording, just having a lovely Italian dinner, and I think I was slightly tipsy, and I sent you a voice message rather than type it all out.
Yeah, you did.
And I just got really flirty with you.
You're like, hey babe, you got your prompts here. Prompts, trio rock song. It was a 3-part harmony.
Had to be included, yeah.
Yeah. What was the lyric? Where are my keys? Which, funnily enough, I completely finished the song like 10 minutes before I was going to leave. And then I was like, I'll just check the prompts, make sure that I did it right. And I listened to your recording again.
Yep.
And it was like, where are my keys? And I was like, fuck, I sung the wrong lyric. And so I had to go back through and re-record that line.
Like, we wouldn't penalise you for that.
I know, but I was like, well, I don't know the rules, man. I don't know how hard you guys are.
No, we're strict though. No.
Real strict.
Just play the song, I reckon.
Okay.
This is Garbage Band. I finished it like an hour ago.
Is it named such because you were using GarageBand?
Yeah.
Okay. Here it is.
garbage band.
That was not garbage.
That was not garbage.
That was awesome.
No, really atmospheric at the beginning, which is very, very you.
I thought that end, the hits at the end, I toyed with the idea of like having that go for like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Well, we always joked in our group about having false endings and
Yeah.
things like that.
And I was just going to let it play until you guys were going to be like, when does it end? And I'll be like, it doesn't.
Well, Sam straight away would be like, is this 15 minutes?
Yeah.
How did you record it? Because you don't have setups like us.
I used the iRig 2.
Oh, nice.
Oh, right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Does it plug into a laptop?
Plugs into the 3.5mm jack.
Oh, right.
And then you can plug a guitar input into it and then headphones. And so you can
Right.
still hear yourself. And that's all I used. And then the vocals were done plugging my headphones straight into the laptop and then sitting in my car. Because it was the only space which was kind of like contained and semi-soundproof where I could just sing loudly.
Wow, it does not sound like it.
And it's just the microphone speakers.
Oh really?
From your laptop.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, the laptop speakers.
That's how good recording's gotten.
Yeah, also
Technology's gotten that
think
good.
it depends because it's like a rock song. It probably doesn't suffer too much for lack of like quality, or like if you're singing like a soft acoustic song, you want it to be really like high definition. But if you're playing loud, then it,
Yeah.
That reminds me of something that's going to happen in my song. My squeaky
yeah.
chair will feature.
like a lo-fi sort of sound kind of adds to a rock song.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
And like because I was using GarageBand and I haven't done a lot of recording myself before. I was just using the kind of inbuilt sounds and just kind of
Oh
tweaking
yeah.
them a little bit.
Did you play bass or?
Yep.
Were you
that's good-
using
good
Yeah,
playing.
really cool emulator on it as well. Kind of grungy.
The funny thing is, I wrote the song I played it in drop D, so I recorded everything like that, and then I went to lay the lyrics or the melody over top for the vocals, and I was just like, "Fuck, this is in the wrong key."
Yeah.
So then I just bounced I mixed it to what I wanted the music to be like, and then bounced the track, and then transposed it
Oh,
down 2 steps. And
Nice.
so it's technically drop C.
Very clever.
Right.
Yeah, because that riff, that boom, bam, 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 you've been playing.
Yeah,
around
I've had that for ages, and I was like, I need to do something with it. I may as well use it for this.
I like the way in your song how you moved between all. There was like a lot of ideas, and I liked how you kind of like transitioned and.
I think that's kind of a lot of my kind of rock songs are like that.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I just smash all these ideas together and just make them work somehow.
I think
It's
it's
kind
great
of
though.
yeah, it's quite like what early split ends were when they were progressive. They'd get bored after one section, so one song would be like 7 different time signatures and keys, and
Yeah, well, like I was trying to play the in the second verse the bass part, and I was trying to play it, and I thought it just kept repeating the same pattern, and then I was like, why is it not matching the guitar? And it was because every cycle it changed. It just never repeats the same thing twice. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I did that without even thinking about it. I was like, that's kind of cool.
was this your first time doing harmonies?
Yeah.
How'd you find it? Because it sounded really good.
Where Are My Keys was more.
Yeah, that was like a hook from the 80s. That
Yeah. It was. I didn't think too much about it because I didn't really have enough time to think about the harmony. So I just kept looping it and singing it, and it would loop, and it would be like, okay, that one's fine. Drag it down, and then just sing it again, listening to the old one, and be like, okay, that's fine. And then just did that like for all the different harmonies, and didn't think too much about them.
great song.
I concur.
It's good fun.
Who would like to do their Cars song first? I'd like to go in the middle because mine's a bit different and it would change things up.
I can go first.
Yep.
Sweet. Did you explain this? That we're all doing the same.
Yeah, we've got the eggs, and this is the prompt that the 3 of us have all written to.
Yeah, and so the prompt is the band Cars, which on saying that band name, I thought, oh, I don't know if I know any of those songs, but then I did know a few of them. They've got some bangers. And then the lyric prompt was literature, which I was like, how the heck am I going to write a song about literature? So I basically did the classic thing of writing a love song, but just put heaps of literature puns in there. Things that I took from the Cars, I did the palm muty chug 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 thing for all the verses, and then tried to make because the guy that sings, he's got almost like a talking head style of singing. Yeah, he kind of does that talky.
yeah.
He's very cool.
Yeah. So I tried to do that. I don't know if it really worked, but I just tried to replicate the sounds that they use, but
Cool.
with my limited equipment that I have at home.
like poetry, it opens up my mind. When I hear your lies, like tragedy, it tears me up inside. When you say my name, I go to an imaginary plane. When you walk away, I start dissecting every word you say. Read between the lines, yeah, yeah, I'm looking up for signs. Lean into your reflections, gotta make the right suggestions. Read between the lines, yeah, yeah, I'm reading all the time. Into what you think about, what you really think about me. Myself, I got to hit rewind. Was it meant for me? Or am I misinterpreting your intention? You're a metaphor. You embody everything I'm waiting for. But I'm running out of time. Gotta start writing my own storyline. Read between the lines, yeah, yeah, I'm looking up for signs. Lean into your reflections, gotta make the right suggestions. Read between the lines, yeah, yeah, I'm reading all the time. Into what you think about, what you really think about me. Suggestions, read between the lines, yeah, yeah, I'm reading all the time. Into what you think about, what you really think about me.
Well, it's been a great experience, guys.
Damn it, I'm just gonna,
thanks
thanks
for the opportunity, but yeah.
What the fuck, Sam? That was so cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I'll remind you that Sam writes this shit minus 12 hours before we do this.
Are you a bassist or something?
Yeah, I wrote down bass runs.
Oh, right.
Great bass runs.
Thanks.
Yeah, I loved all the like flowing lines and a little bit bossa nova-y in parts.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to copy, I don't know if he does the bossa thing, but he has quite spacious bass parts. And then in the chorus, I sort of just went the
Spacious bass parts.
Spacious.
Spacious bass parts. That's our title.
The spacious
Yeah.
bassist.
I totally forgot that I was meant to be like really, really listening, and I was just enjoying that.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That sounds like a Cars song.
You reckon?
Yeah, I
Cool.
reckon.
Yeah, I think he just has that really like rhythmic singing style, that like he's very, I don't know, his words have a lot of attack, so I was just trying to do that, and that's something I struggle with usually, like with recording, my words kind of mumble together. So I was trying to make it really like.
Well, talking about the lyrics, like great punnage.
Oh, yeah.
The line about the metaphor and then rhyming that.
Oh yeah,
That was really good.
I was stoked about that one. It's almost a metaphor.
Okay, that could be the title
being
as
a
well.
metaphor. Yeah, sure.
And just as someone who studied audio engineering, how the fuck are you so much better at mixing than me? And I studied it.
I didn't spend too much time on the mix. I think, well, actually,
Maybe that's the difference. I spend too much time on mine.
I don't know. But so I guess it was already kind of mixed just because I chose the guitar sound and stuff. But
And
so
was that all
it's-
just drum loops, or were you playing the drums on the keyboard? again?
It's drum samples on Logic, but I was using triggers to play the
Right.
drums.
When
Sort
those-
of like those
You're
squares.
fantastic at that.
Yeah, when those drums came in, I was like, real cars. Like, this is...
They do a lot of, but the drums are quite simple, but they're just
Yeah.
effective. They just sort of layer up.
Okay,
Next.
on to my one, just for a bit of variation. I was bad boy. We had a long break between these two. We've had 2 lockdowns in New Zealand, and for some reason I just wasn't feeling as motivated. So my songs aren't full band songs. There is no drums. I don't even think there's any bass in either one. Sorry, Adam. He gave me a frown.
I gave him the lower lip.
Yeah.
going down.
Quiver.
Help, yeah. The Cars, I don't really know that much about. Really cool band. Probably not something I'd actively listen to, but they do know how to write great hooks and good arrangements. So I had in my mind what a Cars song should sound like, and then I ended up kind of not doing it. Their biggest hit, is it called Drive?
Oh yeah, that is
very
quite a departure from there.
Exactly. So I kind of went that way, but without the whole keyboards and drums.
So what did you have in there?
There was no vocals, there was no guitar either.
It was just a didgeridoo. And with the literature aspect of the lyrics, I went totally different to how you did it. I picked a topic of literature, the great works of J.K. Rowling. And so I wrote a song about how Hermione is hard done by. And so this is my song to Harry and Ron, and it's called A Friend Like Hermione.
1, 2, 3. Remember the first time you saw her on the train helping another boy out? You'd never seen kindness like that, had you, Harry? Remember the first time she noticed you pointing out the dirt on your nose, but not in ridicule or judgment. Remember that, Ron? So the next time you're out in the grounds, don't turn your back on her now. She's as fierce as she is loyal. And remember, Hermione's right, you should listen to her. Don't leave her in the dark, leave her crying in the corridor. Come on, Harry and Ron, come on now. She's a smart one, why don't you listen to her? Why don't you listen to her? Why don't you listen to her? Remember how she adopted Crookshanks? She loved the one that no one would want. And though he went after your rat, wasn't she right, Ron? She'd always return to the library, looking for the answers in books, learning of potions and of basilisks. Was her all along. So next time you're out in the grounds, don't turn your back on her now. She is as fierce as she is loyal. Remember, Hermione is right, you should listen to her. Don't leave her in the dark, leave her crying in the corridor. Come on, Harry and Ron, come on now. She's a smart one, why don't you listen to her? Why don't you listen to her? Why don't you listen to her? Next time the dark mark appears, turn to the light of her wand. She is as tough as she is petrified. But no one else needs love more than her. Hermione is right, you should listen to her. Don't leave her in the dark, leave her crying in the corridor. Come on, Harry and Ron, come on now. She's a smart one, why don't you listen to her? Why don't you listen to her? Why don't you listen to her? Magic.
So when I was doing that last chorus, I just like threw in magic because it seemed like the right thing to do. So I added that little chime at the end.
That was
Yes, that's the perfect noise for the word magic.
Yeah.
Beltry, yeah.
Just took me back to like was that Flight of the Conchords thing of like Albie
versus Dragon.
yeah.
and it's all like narrative and like
Yeah, it's a kid's song.
but I reckon the chorus had like a Cars vibe, like the melody.
Well, I imagine doing it as like a standard
Yes.
rock band
Yeah.
arrangement, so there would have been drums and stuff, but just sheer laziness on my part. The only thing that I was like, well, this is a Cars thing, is playing that kind of keyboard. Because there is
Yeah.
like a synth line usually.
That's what I figured too. Is they don't have many lead guitar parts. It's all like
Yeah.
keyboards.
And
Yeah.
so at 3 a.m. this morning, I was in my underwear, totally unrelated, just in the middle of my floor playing the keyboard part to this song to get it finished in time and just going, this is fun. I hope no one walks in right now.
Definitely both of your guys' songs have really cool like synth lines. And I think that's a big part of the Cars sound.
I threw in a lot of Harry Potter references,
Yeah.
mainly from the first 3 books, because I
Yeah.
figured another 65% of song would be too long.
Oh yeah.
There's enough examples of
Oh,
Hermione
so were
being
they
a wonderful
sequential?
person. Kind of.
Wait.
Well, the first verse references them meeting her on the train when she's looking for Neville's toad. And then it goes on to mention Chamber of Secrets as well as the events in the 3rd novel.
Adopting Crookshanks. And
Yeah.
that's right.
Peter Pettigrew spoilers. We got one more Cars song.
It's my one. Mine was originally going to be about Harry Potter as well, because I read all the books between like Christmas and now. And it was like my first read through.
Jealous.
But the issue I had was I couldn't stop getting this one thing out of my head, which was singing the words Ludo Bagman.
He's such a small character.
Yeah, from the 4th book to the melody of Teenage Wasteland.
The Who song.
Yeah, the Baba O'Reilly.
Baba O'Reilly, yeah.
So I just had stuck in my head for ages, just like
So
Ludo Bagman.
I thought you were
His name is
It's
Ludo
only
Bagman.
Ludo Bagman.
Yeah, well, the whole song. Yeah. So I just had to cut the Harry Potter shit out.
But see, that would have been perfect because that's the 4th book.
Oh yeah, we could have. But
It
yeah,
was just the same song. Just more lyrics and Adam singing.
so instead of doing that, I just wrote a regular song and then made one reference to a book somewhere in the first line.
That fits. That fits.
Yeah, for this song, I really thought of the song "Moving in Stereo," which has like a really strong interaction between the like beats 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. But yeah, let's have a listen. Always guessing those. You're always looking kinda shook. You always get caught lying. You always telling tales 5 nights a week like this. Government watch surveillance out there. Get away, get away. Stop lying. Well, they might catch you lying. I think you better stop lying. I think you better stop telling tales 5 nights a week like this.
Cool.
Broccoli.
If this podcast was a stock market, we would be curving up.
Invest. Stocks.
That was a killer synth.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
thanks.
a killer synth.
Yes, straight away when we
I
had
was
that
just like,
synth, we
oh,
were just like,
fuck
yes.
Yeah, I was looking up like tutorials on how to get the cars synth sounds
Oh,
and stuff,
yeah.
but there wasn't anything that helpful out there. But I was kind of like just went from there, kind of.
I ended up giving up on trying to find synth sound and just went for organ.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, it's a specific sound, eh?
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you
got
do
it.
is you look at the synths that they were actually using, and
Right.
then people will say like, "Oh, this Moog sounds like this."
oh yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Was that programmed or did you play that?
yeah. It's MIDI, so I
yeah.
kind of imported MIDI and then used a virtual instrument and programmed all that.
And can I commend Adam? He played the guitar.
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Nice.
He came over to record, and so
So-
he played me the song, and I was like, "Oh, why don't you play?"
Yeah, well, I played the acoustic on the demo. And I was like, I haven't played electric in years, but it's a little bit easier actually.
So I
Yeah.
gave him
So
the keys to my Jag.
Oh my god.
But it was all just power chords, so that's why.
You only did
play
it.
Sounded good.
Did it in pretty much one take.
Yeah, 2 takes in the end, I think. But
Great drumming, by the way.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan.
Actually, when I started playing, I was like, I remember the song, but it doesn't sound like I'm playing. And then I realized it's because I have new drum skins, new cymbals, new mic, new everything. So it's basically a new drum kit. And then I was like, oh, that's my drums. Oh, yeah.
I have to say, since I started recording my songs with you, they're way better. Like,
It's all in the drums, people. And that's
Pretty
why
much.
I didn't use drums. Challenge yourself. Something that Sam mentioned while we were listening, he thought it was double tracked vocals. Turns out it's quadruple tracked.
yeah, because I did the first take, and I was like, okay, those are the notes I want, and so I did it again, and I was like, that's a really similar take. So I did it again, and then on the 4th time, I just tried to like make it as raw as possible, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just put all those takes in, and then the old copy and paste to the second chord.
Oh, that's cool. Sounded like just an effect, like a chorus effect, to be honest. It was
I
really
did chuck
sick.
a few effects on there, like distortion and
Yeah.
some kind of tremolo or something.
But I think that's when it sounds like it's an effect rather than like multiple voices. That's when you tell like it's really tight.
Oh yeah.
Well, that song was fantastic. And from my own experience recording his next one, it's going to get even better. And I've only heard half of it because Adam's added shit to it.
I haven't added
I
that
assume.
much, but, yeah, a little bit on the side.
Hello, Ryan Eddie Hale here. If you're enjoying the show and want to stay updated, please feel free to follow us on whichever platform you're listening to this on. Also, if you would like to know when the next episode goes live, or want to receive relevant updates, plus lyrics and photos from each recording, make sure to follow our social pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit. Furthermore, if you search Prompt Songs Recommendations into Spotify, we've set up playlists for each episode with a list of all the music that we've mentioned or recommended for easy access. Now, back to the show.
End transition. Right, so Richard.
Oh,
song
hello.
number 2.
Yes, this is my next song. The prompt for it was a 4-chord song. The lyric was...
Would you like to explain what a 4-chord song is
I took your
first?
photograph. Well, no, because I don't know anything about music theory. Like, nothing.
You don't need to. All you need to do is watch the Axis of Awesome
Well,
4-chord
that's
song.
what I did. I was like... I knew you were going to give me something music theory related. And so I was like, okay, you got to do it. You got to learn something.
And then I got a panicked message from Richard about 3 weeks ago going, define a 4-chord song.
I was like,
if I do this and move the chords around, is that a 4-chord
Yeah,
song?
well, I was Googling and it was confusing me, and I was just like, I don't know, maybe I'll just... Because I've never ever written anything with theory in mind. And so I was like, I have to force myself to. And so I was like, right, is this right if I do it like this? And then you gave me all these examples and I listened to them all and I was like, oh, okay, cool. All right, we'll go with something like that.
Yeah, the idea, what came across to me was like, it's not a 4-chord song, but technically it is. I was intentionally saying like, if you like play Richard's chords without the lyrics, we could sing, 100 songs over the top of it.
Yeah, right.
But I think he's giving us something
So
new.
you
and
were
interesting.
going for... So you were...
I'm not being strict
going
about it,
for
though.
the classic 4 chords.
That was the intention. But if
Okay.
Richard's
Don't
not
worry.
done that, I don't mind.
The classic 4 chords are in there.
Cool.
There's many variations of the 4-chord song.
Because my
I
thoughts
did 3
were-
different variations.
My thoughts were you're going just for any song that had a maximum of 4 chords.
Right.
There is that famous
yeah,
sequence
you can do-
that...
Yeah,
Captures-
I went with the famous sequence.
Okay, cool.
And then
guitar in tune?
and variants of. Can I do an excuses part?
Yeah.
I liked that from the previous episodes. I was like, that's such a cool thing. So my excuses, I recorded these in my car with my gaming headset from the warehouse, which was $20,
Hell
at
yeah.
3 a.m. under the influence in my car.
So for the few people who are unsure what a 4-chord song is, it's basically a sequence of chords in a scale that have been used in countless pop songs over the years, as seen and heard in the Axis of Awesome's 4-chord song. They give you many examples, and so the 4 chords sound like this. Dun, 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 dun. That's Let It Be.
Yeah.
But that is also With or Without You by U2. And it's also Sway by Big Rugger. And I am speaking like this because I am further away from the mic.
Cool. Should we hit it?
Yeah.
So yeah, quickly the lyric prompt was...
Oh, the lyric prompt was, I took your photograph. All right, hit it.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, goddamn it, if you're not rich, you'll be rich by the time you leave this place. When you hear that sound, guess what's on my mind? If you can, you're going straight to hell, baby. You don't like that? Well, that's how it goes when you're going to die rich or die rich. Sometimes in the wrong mind, you see us around the other way. Never found yourself. Think about a way. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, yeah. Pick a suitcase, any suitcase, inside is a life. But make sure you pick the right one, because if you don't, you are fucked. I'm trying to break down so I can build it up.
Whoa,
Cool, man. I love those hits.
Yeah.
Those bass hits.
Thanks.
Very, very nice bass line. And a cool bass tone, too.
I'd just say a fantastic mix all around.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
That got really vaporwave towards the end. I liked it. Quite
Yeah.
chill out. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on the entire time. I just went with it.
I was just drunk in my car.
Yeah.
It was cool though. I like the way you like use those 4 chords, but you change the speed. It was like,
And every now and then
double them
you'd
up
play with it and go back and
like,
forth between some.
mix and match them. Like it was
Yeah.
really creative
Yeah.
the way you because you did use those 4 chords in the right sequence a lot of like most of the time. But it was just really creative the way you.
Yeah, well, because I was originally going to do it in G, and so the bass line, I chopped off the first half of it so that it would chuck the drums in it. It changed the rhythm of like how, I don't know what that's called, but like
false starts.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was going to say any song wins me over if it's got a false start.
Because I remember listening to just the drums and the bass when I first recorded those. And I just somehow accidentally chopped off the start of it, and I was just playing it through, and I listened to it for like an hour, and I was just like, the groove is so interesting. Like I can't pick up where it's supposed to start and when it's not.
It was a really cool drum loop.
Just a disclaimer: that second chorus sounds way better when you've got the headphone, like when you've got more of a stereo thing on, because it's got two different things hitting you from different angles.
The initial guitar riff at the very start, I said it as it came on. It sounded like Christmas. Just needed a few sleigh bells.
Twinkly.
Or
reminded
a
me
Wolfbeck funk arrangement. Christmas in New Zealand.
Yeah, it reminded me of that band Phoenix. Do you know that band?
No.
Know the
They had
name.
I've heard of them.
They had an indie. They had a huge indie album, which had like Listomania and 1901 on it. But I really expected like that from that first guitar sound. It really reminded me of that.
Cool.
Well, I think you've definitely earned your place back here if you ever want back on the show.
Thanks.
Should we just keep the same order?
Sure. Okay. My prompt for the next song was to replicate the band Cream, which
Cool.
Cool.
just a reference that's Ginger Baker and
Jack
Eric
Bruce.
Clapton and Jack Bruce. Yeah. Was it one of the first bands that made Eric Clapton famous?
No, Clapton was in the Yardbirds beforehand.
Yeah.
But everyone was in the Yardbirds.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It was other than his appearance on While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Right,
That was around that
yeah.
time.
So what I did, I tried to copy the singing style of his name Jack. He has this like falsetto sound that he uses all the time, and then also Ryan likes to call me two solos sometimes,
With good reason.
a lot of the time, and I think this song really reinforces that.
Should we explain?
Once I took two solos in
Exactly.
a song.
So, like any good nickname, it's a once-off occurrence that earns him a nickname for life.
With this song, I don't know if it's like lots of solos or if it's just I'm soloing through the entire song. Pretty much that. You can divide it into so maybe it is just one solo, it just lasts the entire length of the song. You guys can decide. The lyric prompt is high school romance, and so I wrote it from the perspective of being in high school as a young boy and not being able to read people's like, you don't know if someone likes you or not. You're always second guessing, and like, yeah, so that's sort of the premise.
She passes out by, leaves me with questions and dreams. My heart rate is high, not too sure what I've seen. Though it might take me nowhere, can't rest until I know the truth. strange fright. Play the scene in my mind. I need to play my cards right. Though it might take me nowhere, can't rest until I know the truth. If even just a little spark, let it grow until it burns the till it burns the though it might take me nowhere, can't rest until I know the truth. If even just a little spark, let it grow until it burns the
Oh my god.
Stank face all around the table there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so cool just hearing you like play pentatonic and blues, like straight up rock blues stuff.
A long time since we've heard that.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing that a lot in the rock and roll band I play in.
Oh,
It's
right,
pretty
right.
much-
I've got a note here, creamy. And I think that sums it up. The production on this song, and I've mentioned it before on Simulation Theory, like they just sound like they're from the era. The drums were muddy.
Yeah.
They were quite buried, and that is so typical of the production at the time. The guitar's right out the front, and the
Right.
vocals are like
'Cause this-
kind of bleeding.
This was a song that I was going to ask you about because I was trying to get the drums louder, but I couldn't.
I think that works with it though.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
cymbals aren't really in the mix too much, and all you can really hear is the thud of the toms. I think that's, early cream.
Oh, cool.
He had kind of like a Lenny Kravitz-y kind of vibe to the voice as well, which is
yeah.
real cool. Because I was listening
There
to
were
him just the
times
other
it
day and I
didn't
was
sound
like,
like him.
ooh,
Yeah,
cool.
There were times that the falsetto, I couldn't tell it was your voice.
All right, yeah.
In a good way.
Trying to do this like real nasal thing.
Yeah.
I was just trying to push all the notes, all the sound up into my nose, which I think is what a lot of rock singers do, but it does change the like sound of your voice quite a lot.
Sounded cool.
And it was really groovy. I'm sure Adam wasn't the only one who appreciated your bass lines. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
I promise next episode I'm going to up my fucking game. So my next one, it was a prompt from Adam. It was a lyric prompt of Sea Salt, and it was meant to be, and is, a musical theatre style song. So what this song is basically 6 mini songs in one. So I worked harder. No, I don't have much experience with musicals. I'm not really a fan, except for there's a group called Star Kid who do some fantastic original musicals based on existing properties, and they've got some original ones. If you love Harry Potter, check out Harry Potter Musical. If you just love good stories, watch Twisted. It's free on YouTube, and it's Aladdin from Jafar's perspective. And it's some of the best singing, some of the best songs, some of the best acting you'll ever see. Plus, it's fucking hilarious, and they all did it themselves. So, for me, with Sea Salt, I thought, well, it's got to be nautical themed. I quite like pirates. Pirates are fun! So I was catching up with Adam when he came over to do the work on his songs. And I told him, and it's very true, I worked more on the musical story than I have on the song. Because the song is just a little part of the story. It's not the showstopper, it's not the opening, it's not anything like that. The story is, it's a girl who gets orphaned when pirates raid her village. She's probably like maybe 14. So her family and all her friends get killed. Very tragic. And then as the smoke is smouldering away, pirates return and she gets taken onto a vessel. And so this is the song of her becoming a pirate on this vessel. But it's not what it seems. Because this pirate ship is manned entirely by women pretending to be men, except for the captain. And all of them have been affected by pirates, because pirates have taken their families away. So what they do is they chase pirates. They are pirating the pirates.
Ah.
And it's this girl's journey about her discovering her new family after hers is unfairly taken away. It's a feminist masterpiece, and it's called A Pirate's Life for She. But the song itself is called The Sea Salt Sweet. Pun.
Oh, wow.
Didn't even realise it was a pun until I typed it out and was like, oh, it's a fucking pun. And I don't have any excuses. I specifically arranged it so it was minimal guitar and strings. So acoustic guitar and strings, because it's kind of like yo-ho. I nearly ruined my voice doing the pirate voice last night. So it's amazing I'm talking today. So this is the Sea Salt Suite, as our heroine has been brought aboard the ship and is finding out what she's going to be doing from here on out with her life.
Pull up the anchor, away we go. Unfurl the sails, all hands on deck. To new horizons, least we run aground and wreck. Every brow should be a sweat, there is no time to lose. I'm already tasting hints of sea salt.
But Captain Stan, I don't know what it means to be a pirate. I mean, where are we going? What are we gonna do?
We'll sail off for adventures filled with danger. Find friends and clash with foes along the way. You could have your innermost desire.
I just want my family back.
First mate Jim, show her the ropes.
The waters of the sea reflect our lives. So blue, cold, beautiful and cruel. The ocean life has drowned a kind because we all have been robbed blind by a sudden twist of fate's cruel hand. Everyone on board here has a story of love and loss brings tears to the eyes. The ocean life has saved us from the empty lives which sprung upon. The ship is run by orphans and outcasts true. Wow, the view from the mast is incredible, so beautiful, it makes me miss home. Even home, we don't sail these waters alone. Seen some come and go. I'll pull you out of danger, my friend. Even home, the stars they point the way. Even home way again. The stars they shine, but now and then one falls. 'Cause every star doth fall in the end.
Watch yourself, girlie. The cook's in one of his moods. It's just a light storm, but he likes to over-exaggerate. Watch out! Danger ahead! Mermaids! Davy Jones! The Kraken! Red Eye's enemies hungry for our souls! Grip the ropes! The whirlpool's strong! The storm is taking our sails! Pray that we see the sun tomorrow!
It seems like this boat's got everyone. How do I fit in? What can I do to help sail this ship? What can I bring to the table? Will I be a
What should I do while we're out at sea? What can I do when we face danger?
You could be a boatswain, keeping tabs on everyone.
You could be a surgeon, quartermaster, or woman the guns.
Hey, girlie, you can read, can't you? You're good with a map. Why don't you be a sailing master? You're in charge of navigation.
Really? That sounds perfect.
Where to, girlie?
Off to adventure.
Off to adventure, we rule the seas. In search of gold and spices, clothes, and be free. Should I be defied, then I'll make a bolt. Lick my lips and taste the hint of sea salt. Wash your wounds in gallons of fresh sea salt. I'm at home when I can taste the sea salt. Hoist the sails of the SSC salt.
That was fucking awesome. Yeah. Holy shit.
So those last 4 lines of the captain's last chorus were each individual takes, because I'd sing a line, attempt the next one, and then like my throat just hurts so much.
Oh man!
Wow, that was incredible.
Just make a stage show out of that.
Like I was just imagining the whole thing. Like,
there's going to be a thing of how like she had like some sort of blanket for comfort, and that she managed to take with her when she escaped her house. And then she takes it on board, but then she misplaces it when their ship gets pillaged, and she thinks she's lost it, and she's really upset. But then when they have a new ship, the captain raises the flag, and the flag is made up of all their precious things that they thought they'd lost. Oh. It makes audiences cry 10 out of 10. The New York Times.
I think some of your female leads are going to have trouble with the range, but...
Yeah, that was the hardest part. I had fun with like the cook. The cook, I went for a Tom Waits and ended up like Terry Gilliam and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I mean, like Brian.
Yeah, he was awesome.
But
that was a cool voice.
Yeah, I loved in the cook part, like how you use the strings to like make waves with the sound. You know, like
not intentional. It was meant to be like storm and unsettling, and that's usually what that kind of running semitonal kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
It's hard to do a female voice with a baritone.
I love that like really bouncy bit with the like really happy sounding strings.
Dainty, like the lead character. Yeah. Did you like how she became more American throughout the song?
Yep. Is that what the C's?
Totally unintentional.
Is that what the C's does to? Makes them
I recorded all the songs like back to back, and then at the end I was like, well, I'll put the dialogue in between, and then it's like it doesn't sound like a girl if I just have a Kiwi accent.
Oh, yeah.
But for some reason, if I give her a US accent, it does a little bit.
Sort of with TV, it's sort of the universal accent now. So.
Well, yeah, like Pirates in the Caribbean, so there'll be some Americans around, I'm sure.
Sure.
You should do voiceover work.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's too competitive of a market. I've thought about it genuinely, but yeah.
You should do something like do a stage show with that. Please.
Feminist masterpiece from women.
Incorporate the lobster into the whole story.
Oh yeah,
that could be the
like when it just goes underwater and just goes to the lobster. It's just a weird interlude.
I don't think I specified when the Lobster King was alive though. So yeah, that could, instead of the Kraken, that could be the enemy.
Just have the cook yelling about the Lobster Kings coming, and then...
Or maybe they're two separate just like things but in a shared universe.
Yeah. They're just like...
the Ryan cinematic universe!
It just cuts between the two things and they're not related at all apart from the fact that...
And then the cook gets injured by the Lobster King, and then he dies in the waiting room.
Well, they just accidentally eat the Lobster King.
and while he's dying in the waiting room, what's on TV? The fucking chess anime that I wrote.
Yes.
One of the pirates is the person that stood on the
surfer. Right,
yeah. We're all just sitting here making fan theories.
Cool. So one song left, and
mine's...
This is great. Before we've even done it, this is fucking great.
So my prompt was electro pop, and the lyric prompt was flashing lights. And I kind of, when I started this month, had a bit of writer's block. So I just started trying stuff that I wouldn't normally do, like in terms of harmony and like trying new software. Yeah.
I found it akin to your approach to, there's a song you've written called Serenity of a Familiar Grasp, bandcamp.com/mosaic93, right at the sun, it's on there, listen for free. It's such a unique arrangement, I've never heard anything like it, and when you showed me your demo for this, I was like, wow, get experimental a lot more.
Yeah, comes with a seizure warning, so let's hear it.
Yeah.
Really like on that last note really tunes down.
Yeah.
I think it speaks for itself, so see you guys next episode.
That was so cool.
I want that
Yeah.
song.
So what did you think of Adam's vocals?
That was awesome.
Very cool.
Do you know what he was singing about?
No.
Well, because he was
Flashing
fucking
lights.
singing, that's why.
Yeah, was that like Vocaloid, a free Vocaloid software,
Oh.
which like
Do you know what that is, Sam?
you know, like Hatsune Miku.
Do you write the words in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's,
sings
it's a singer software.
But it can only,
Right.
because it's a Japanese software,
You
it can only
have
sing in
Japanese
Japanese. So I had to like Google Translate my lyrics.
Oh.
But I just like used 2 lines and repeated them over and over. But yeah, it didn't really turn out as like electro pop as much as it was just like something hardcore. I don't know.
I'm stoked with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard anything like that before.
Adam brought it to me and it sounded like that minus the drums. And so I was like, all right, I know what I want to do on this.
Yeah.
And so what we did was we did
When the Levee Breaks.
When the Levee Breaks style from Led Zeppelin.
yeah.
So I'm playing boom, da, boom, da, but everything is just exploded and like it's got a slight delay on it. Richard's speechless.
And like, in terms of the harmony, I was just like, it's kind of got a Coltrane Matrix thing going on in the first verse.
Yeah.
I like how you go into the next key, but then go immediately back to the original.
Different.
Yeah, it's like it goes up a third, and in between each key change, I just chuck an augmented chord in.
Yeah.
Because that's like a stack of thirds, and then it goes up a third again, and then it goes up a third again, but that's like the original key. And then on the second verse, it's just like, because the chord order of that verse is like major chord, it's like a minor chord, and then up a semitone, and then back down a semitone to a major chord, and then up a semitone. And so in that second verse, I'm just like also stepping the key of the song up a semitone each time, and then you get to the last chorus, and then it's just like in a different key to the first chorus.
We took about half an hour to record it because,
That's
as you can tell, the
weird,
hits are quite set in certain places. So it was quite fun listening back to it and remembering most of them because it's still in there.
Yeah, it's like first time all the hits are on one, second time it's like in this bar it's like 2, 3, 4, then on the second bar it's like 1 and so it's just like real specific.
Yeah, it's totally unique. I hadn't heard anything like that before.
I was just imagining like standing in a club, like standing at like the power station or something like that, and just like smoke-filled room,
Strobes.
just strobes and lasers, and everyone just like,
Yeah,
like kind of
moshing,
I don't know,
but not in a tight group.
Kind
You've
of
got your
just like-
space to swing your limbs around.
yeah,
to
and
it.
everyone's just like kind of just real sleepily, just moving along and just like
It's trance, but the
it
way
is
trance should be.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's trance. Wow.
So what are the lyrics? Translated.
So the verse is just flashing lights, flashing lights, flashing lights over and over again, and then the chorus is like, because the only Japanese I really know is like inu no oppai, which means
Dog.
like dog boobies. So it wasn't that, but I used my knowledge of inu no, which is like something that
Dog
belongs
something,
here. And so I did like a jumping dog's dog jump. So it's like if a jumping dog is a thing, and then it has a dog jump. So it probably doesn't make sense, but Google Translate got me there.
I look forward to it knocking out the Japanese Billboard Top 100 trance songs.
Well,
And then they'll find out it could have been about dog boobies. I think that might actually be the title of this one. Dog boobies.
Dog movies. But yeah, it kind of turned out like that band Baby Metal. I haven't really listened to them much, but they're kind of a metal band that has the...
I'm not into idol groups or metal that much, but I quite like Baby Metal.
Oh, okay, I haven't really listened.
It's quite good.
Is it just metal with really high-pitched voices?
No, it's girls.
Oh, right.
So it's idol girls, so girls in their teens dressed up in outfits with metal backing songs.
Yeah.
And then occasionally like high-powered pop kind of choruses,
Alright.
but with heavy guitars. Yeah, it's one of those matches made in heaven, like ska punk. It just works, and it's hella cute.
Is it a genre or a band?
Baby metal's a band,
Right.
but there is a subgenre for it. I don't know what. I think it's called kawaii metal, which would make sense. So for the next episode, Sam was a little bit too busy to partake in the creative side of things. So it'll just be Adam and I. We'd love Richard to be back, but he is busy with his job in the film industry. So Adam and I will draw a prompt each out of the eggs, and while they're here, we'll also get one each from Rich and Sam. And for the other two songs, we'll look back at our back catalogue of prompt songs, pick one, and do it in an entirely new arrangement. Adam, first music.
It's very well scratched.
Yeah. Do you want to pick the lyrics as well so you can read them both at the same time? Or?
Oh, sure. It's another one of my ones.
I see a light blue one. I use different colours.
Oh, okay. It's another one of my ones.
Rigged.
So, the lyric prompt is badgering the witness, which is like a court term for, when they get too aggressive on the witness, and then
What were they wearing?
Yeah.
What time of day was it?
Like
what were you eating?
trying to force them to make a slip up or something,
Yeah.
and then that people go, objection, he's badgering the witness. And the music direction is crowd engagement, i.e., we will rock you.
So like a clap along or a sing along.
And then the other ones is like, hey Jude, just the fellas. Nah.
Do you have to actually emulate the crowd?
Just the fellas. I can't imagine McCartney saying
Isn't
that.
that what he said
Just
at
the fellas.
Isn't that
Just
what
my boys.
Isn't that? I'm sure that's what he just said at the London Olympics. That's when they played Hey Jude. Just the fellas, just the ladies. And the other example is Sweet Caroline.
Ba ba ba.
Yeah.
We just got copyright stricken.
Maybe cut that out. Ba ba ba. Oh shit.
Oh shit. Okay, I've drawn mine. My genre from Sam is disco, and then in brackets I've written again because Perkins' Call was disco. And my lyrics is one of my suggestions. It's wordless singing.
Oh, really?
So I use my voice as an instrument, and I've also got an actual lyric prompt rather than just a direction. A moment of madness. So that kind of fits. So basically a disco freakout.
I've just come up with
Have you
a
decided
thing.
who's
I've
giving
got
to
a prompt, but I don't know who I'm going to give. I'll give this one to Adam. But the band is S Club 7.
Thank you. Thank you.
I choked on my water.
Richard just spat water out.
S Club 7's like S Club's back. Alright.
That's Backstreet.
Please tell me you've given me the wiggles.
I have not.
And
but I've
the
given
lyric prompt is Bubbles.
Okay, S Club 7 Bubbles. Cool.
Yeah.
So S Club 7 about Michael Jackson's monkey. There is actually a really good song about that Bubbles by whatever it's called, Sean Lennon and Liz Claypool.
Oh, yeah.
It was a really nice song that Sean sings about Bubbles' life, essentially.
Oh.
It's called Bubbles Best. So that must mean, Richard, you're giving me a prompt.
Indeed, I am. Are you ready?
No.
So your genre prompt is a cartoon theme song. So like
Another TV theme, okay.
yeah, so like a TV show theme song, like a cartoon one.
SpongeBob
Something you'd see,
SquarePants,
yeah, something like that. And your lyric prompt is a horrible space tragedy.
Oh, okay. Invader Zim, Buzz Lightyear, right.
Enjoy.
Would you like an extended one? Or would you just like the 30-second one?
I'll leave that up to you.
Okay. Cool. So those are the original prompts that Adam and I will bring to the next episode. Sam will be here for the discussion as well. We'll keep it a surprise as to the songs that he and I will be rearranging because we haven't decided. And they need to look over the back catalogue and decide what would be cool. So, recommendations. Anyone want to go first?
I was very excited for this song to be released. I saw it was posted about a week ago that Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars are doing an album together.
I heard that one.
And they dropped the first track for it about 2 days ago, and it's very nice.
It's very chill.
Yeah, very hotly awaiting that album.
I've got an album to recommend. It's called Diamonds. It's by Bros and Arrows.
Actually, I heard that album in the last month.
Really?
And there's a song I really love on it called Satellite. I really enjoy the backing vocals on that one.
Oh,
and
really?
the bass playing on the whole album is just so fantastic. It really reminds me of a friend I know who plays bass.
And sings backing vocals sometimes.
And sings backing vocals sometimes on Satellite on the Bros and Arrows album called Diamonds.
So if it's not clear by now, I played on that album. It's kind of been 2 years in the making, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And yeah,
If you like Guns N' Roses, it's right up your alley. Sounds like it's from the late 80s.
Cool.
Really good songs, great opening.
Where can we find it?
Spotify, YouTube, yeah.
Cool.
Are you still thinking about yours?
No, I've just been listening to this guy called Gene Dawson lately, who's like I think he's like an up and coming kind of like hip hop artist, but he kind of genre bends hip hop and indie, which is a real cool mix, and there's a lot of like guitar-y stuff in there. So I don't know, just check him out.
Do you have any specific album?
He's got an album called Pixel Bath. The first track on that is awesome, called Devilish, I think. I've been jamming that lately.
We've mentioned Japan a few times, so let's go back to Japan. There's this very, very indie group that I stumbled across somehow called Language. So, of course, it's going to be really hard to search them up. But their second to last album called Nectar, which I heard when it came out 2015, They're a band that blends kind of like city pop with real synthesizers. So the main things to look out for are the vocals, the guitars, and the synths. It's a really chill album for like driving at night. It's like the perfect atmosphere for it. Check out the guitar work in Silent Trade and Aria, two of the opening songs. The song Cure, which means today, is just groovy as hell. And then the last song, Moonlight, is just moody. It's just a really nice album. Like no harsh sounds. Just sounds really smooth and atmospheric. So I recommend them. Great band. I'd love to meet them one day and shake their hand and jam with them.
Shake their hand in jam with them?
At the same time, that would be
just
to the
like,
rhythm of the song.
Yeah, in a big tub of jam.
Cool. So, because it's only Adam and I, we're not sure when we'll do the next one. But thanks for listening, and once again, we've got a really good podcast to try and follow up.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been really
No
fun.
worries. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks.
Yeah, awesome songs.
Cheers.
And thanks to everyone for listening. I've been getting a lot of good feedback over the last month from various circles.
Awesome. People are actually listening.
I know. Not just our mothers.
I've been listening and I've been enjoying.
Richard's our number one fan.
So
next
now
to
I
Adam's
see
mother.
how the magic is made.
Yeah. We pulled back the curd and then it's very dirty.
That's it for this episode. To access lyrics and photos from the recording of the show, or just to stay updated with releases and relevant news, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Reddit. Your support and feedback is much appreciated, so leave us a comment on what you enjoyed, or send in a prompt of your own that you would like one or all of us to tackle. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time. Pahrump Songs Podcast is the independent work of Ryan Eddie Hale, Adam Riddell,
Richard Surrey.
and Sam Swindells. All music featured is original, and all relevant rights belong to those parties.